Yep. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Oko Blessing Offem, and this is the Blessing Inspire channel. So today I'm going to be talking about brand awareness. And in talking about brand awareness, we're going to be talking about the right people being aware that you exist. So we're going to be talking about your right people. So if you are joining me for the first time, please say hi, say hello, and type in the comments first time. And if you are returning, you've been here before, please type in the comments, I've been here before. Don't be shy. Go ahead and type in the comments or in the chat, whichever one you prefer. But also, please share this live stream with someone else. This live stream and this channel is for entrepreneurs, kingdom driven entrepreneurs. But even if you're not kingdom driven, you're welcome here. And it is for consultants, coaches, and service providers. I'm going to be tackling the challenges that coaches, consultants, service providers face and offering solutions. And today, one of the challenges that a lot of coaches face, consultants, and service providers, is really identifying their right people. I think that's the term I want to settle on, the right people for your brand, because not everybody is your people. Not everybody is your right person, right? So the right fit, the right client is the one that you love working with. And different brands different brands have different right people. So the right person for me may not be the right person for your brand. So in talking about brand awareness, in talking about becoming more, spreading our message and letting more people know that we exist. Excuse me. What's going on this morning? Sorry about that. Okay, so where were we? In talking about your brand awareness, more people getting to know more about you, what you do, what you offer, the solution that you bring. It's not only it's not just important to be for people to be aware of you. It's even more important for the right people to know that you exist, right? Because the more people that know that you exist, that are right for you, the greater the chances of you um, signing them on as clients. So Monday we talked about, just be being aware of the fact that our brands, we need to grow our visibility. We need to grow in the number of people that know about us. Yesterday, I talked about how sometimes some of the things that hold us back from wanting to show up, from wanting people to know about us. So if you missed it, you can go back and watch on the live tab. So when you come to my YouTube channel, you have to click on live and you will see the live streams that were done before. Today, as I said, I'm talking about how do you how do you know who your right person is? How can you show up for your right person? So that's what we're going to talk about briefly today. May not be such a long live, but I just want to share one or two tips on that. So I want to start off also by saying that if you feel like everyone is your client, that's not going to really be effective in helping you, because then that means I know that many times in business, maybe before, it's like just go to the ocean or go to the river and just cast your net and catch every type of fish. Well, when it comes to business, you really have to be more selective. You really have to be more intentional on the type of fish that you really want to catch, right? Because the type of fish that you want to catch is going to affect the type of meal that you prepare, and so on and so forth. It's going to change so many things. So, and also for your services and for your brand, not everybody can utilize your service. Not everybody is even interested. Not everybody needs what you have to offer, but there are people that absolutely need it and that need to know that you exist. So how do you show up? How do you increase brand awareness? But how do you increase it in the spaces that matter with the right people for your brand, your right people, I call it, right? For your right people. And sometimes even before, in order for us to do that, we have to know who is our right people. How can I know who is my right person? If you don't have clarity on who you're trying to serve, then you're going to be trying to reach out to everyone. And that's going to be wasted time, wasted resources, right? So it does not matter. It doesn't mean, let me say, it doesn't mean that because you're trying to target a certain right people for you, that you're excluding other persons. No, other persons might be welcome and will can come and engage with your brand, but um even though there's a targeted market, there are specific people that you are trying to get the attention of. So I remember I'm an advertising major. I double majored in my undergraduate in business and advertising. And I remember, in my studies, looking at adverts, and sometimes even though the advert is targeting um, a particular consumer, but more than one person is affected by seeing that ad. And I remember also there was a time where there was an issue with companies getting into trouble because they were marketing to children, right? And so that was a problem because then when they market to children, children are not adults, they're easily, influenced and stuff. So then the children will now put pressure on the parents. But then also in that same breath, I remember that you could be watching a child's program and like a cartoon, and you will see an advert for something that has to do with for an adult. Usually a lot of mom products will feature there too. Well, because the advertisers were targeting the moms, and they knew that more than likely the moms were around a particular age of children, watching the children, so they would also be able to see the advert, you see? So even though they were showing up in a children's program, the children were not their target audience. The adults were. The adults. The moms were the target audience. So the messaging is different. Now, when those type of commercials came on, the kids they're not even interested. They don't even get it, right? And then the same thing if there's an advert that is targeting the children, the parents can get it, but it's not something that like sometimes when they feature a certain particular toy and they make believe how you can play with the toy. As a child, I would love it. I consumed it like, wow, I could see myself playing with that, toy and so on. But as an adult, when I look at that, I'm just like, okay, I don't even understand what is I'm using there because I'm not the target audience, right? I'm not the person that the ad is intended for. So showing up, increasing brand awareness, we need to know who our right people are. So we go to the right spaces in order to have a greater chance of our right people knowing about us and raising their hands to work with us. So everybody is not your right person. Everybody is not your right person for your brand. So the sooner that you come to that understanding, the easier it becomes to just streamline your messaging, right? And even our Lord Jesus Christ said, I have not come for those who are well. If you are well, I have not come for you. If you don't need a savior, I have not come for you. I have come for those who are not well. I've come for those who are in need. So even with us, we are not to serve everyone. And actually, I talk about that in my book, Marketing Strategies for Kingdom Entrepreneurs. Everyone is not our client. Now, I will give you one tip. You select your right person based on what matters to your brand. Based on what matters to your brand. It's not everything. What do I mean? If your brand is able to serve both men and women, then your right people could be men and women. But there are times based on the service you offer, based on, what you're selling, that the right person for your brand is not both men and women. It's women or it may be men. So it depends on what you're offering. So, sometimes in the past, it would be like you have to select, is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it this? Sometimes the gender may not really be significant, right? May not really matter. Sometimes the age does not matter. Sometimes the demographics, not the demographic, the location. The location doesn't matter, right? So the more important thing that you should focus on is the psychographics. I was talking about demographics and psychographics. Demographics are things that you can get, you can look and you can research and you can know. You don't need the potential client to actually give you that information. You already kind of can have an idea from research, from other things you can, get that. But psychographics, really, you need the target audience to provide some of that information, because that's getting into what makes them buy. That's getting into what is what lies underneath when they make a purchase. Why are they making this purchase, right? So you're getting deeper into their reasoning and thinking and into their desires and their wants. Whereas demographics, they're really looking more on the exterior. So that's the way I understand it. I can explain it to you. Demographics, you're looking at the outside, but the psychographics, you're looking more on the inside. So that you will need to engage more with your right person in order to get some of that detail, that information. But demographics information can include income level, location, it can include gender, it can even include race and religion. It can include, did I say education? So many things that are exterior that you can know even without the person, providing that information. But psychographics, you're trying to get to what actually makes this person to make the purchase. What is their thinking process, as they are making that purchase? What are their wants? What are their desires? What are their fears? What are their concerns, right? So that is one of the ways that you know your right person. You select their demographics based on what matters to the services that you offer, right? So if the services that you offer, as I said, both men and women can benefit from it, then why exclude? I think I came to, you don't have to niche so much to the point that you have such a small size target audience, especially when you're starting, because many times niching to that extent um, can exclude potential clients that your services could help. So what do I mean? There was a time that I tried to niche down to just working with service providers. But the fact is that I help coaches as well. And even though I niched down to service providers, coaches were still approaching me as well. So in my line of work, in the services that I offer, I can help both coaches and consultants. And so that's why I say so. I help coaches, consultants, and service providers, right? Because it's just has been part of my brand from the day one. I'm able, and I work with all those three types of persons. And really, the consultant and the service provider are the same in one, but sometimes slightly different. And it's just sometimes the terminology that your right person is able to identify themselves by. So for me, I'm working with coaches and service providers, but some persons are not like service providers, they're more like a consultant. So that's why I use that languaging as well, right? So you niche based on what matters to your brand and the services that you provide. And you also, when it comes to the demographics, but the more important thing to focus on is the psychographics. But you have to have clarity, because when you know who your right person is, then even what you say, your messaging will be affected. Your messaging and the places that you show up will be affected, because you know who you're trying to reach, right? So except the companies are trying to reach the moms and the dads, So therefore, in an adult program, they would show, an ad that features a particular toy. It wouldn't make sense because they're showing up in the wrong place, right? They're showing up in the wrong place. But when they are very much sure that when they show an ad that is probably for geared towards moms, even though they're showing it in a children's program, they are pretty sure that those children are not without an adult. And more than likely, they're with their mothers, right? So, it's just will affect where you show up, the spaces in where you show up, and it will also affect your messaging. It saves you time because you're not trying to reach everybody. You don't have to try to reach everybody. So because you don't have to be all over the place, you know exactly where you need to be. And also it helps you direct your marketing and your content to speak directly to the people or the person that you're trying to reach. So as I said, it's best if you can narrow it down, where it makes sense for your brand. So also, let's say if you are someone, one of the questions I ask is, are your services meant for only Kingdom entrepreneurs, or are your services both for, persons that are, circular, otherwise? So if it is a service as far as your brand is concerned, you work with either, then you don't need to niche it down necessarily one way or the other, right? But for Kingdom entrepreneurs, like for my brand, even though I am open to working with persons that may not be of the faith, I do let them know, and I want you to know, because that's you, that I do consult and coach from a biblical perspective. So if you're okay with that, then we can roll, right? But I will work with both Circular and Kingdom as long as you are okay with the methods that I'm using and the basis where I'm coming from, right? So I made that change for my brand because business strategies, there are laws and principles that work, whether you're Kingdom or not. But I am teaching from a Kingdom perspective because at the end of the day, the values of my brand and the mission of my brand is coming from a biblical standpoint, right? So you want to niche as it matters to your brand, but it is important for you to know who your right person is so that you can show up, you can spend the time and the effort showing up in the right spaces to have a greater chance of your right people finding out more about you. So the target is not just to be known. It's not just to increase brand awareness unless, you have a different, agenda. Your target is to be known by the right people, the more of the right people, right? So if you need further, if you want us to go deeper in that, that is something that I help my clients with. I'll have a series of questions that I'll walk you through. And in the end, because sometimes it's really hard for some people to decide who they really want to focus on, who they really want to serve. And I make the process very easy. You're not going to feel like you're in a box, like, no, no, no. I want to serve everybody. We will work through that. And in the end, you will end up with minimum if one, two, maybe three persons, but one to two, as I said, for me, it's two people, but I'm using languaging that my potential client can identify themselves by. So that's why I'm using coaches, consultants, and service providers. I hope this live has been useful and helpful. Let me know in the comments. Like I said, if you are watching this for the first time, just put in the comments first time. And if you're returning, say I've been here before, I'm returning, and send me your questions. Do you have any questions about this? Have you struggled in the past with this? Do you have clarity on this? Let me know. And then you can also connect with me on social platforms. Facebook is Blessing Inspires. On Instagram is Blessing Inspire. And on LinkedIn is Blessing Inspire. So I will see you tomorrow. All right. Until then, stay well, stay blessed. Have an awesome rest of your day. Bye.